Hi, I'm Markos. I'm a Clinical Excellence Lead and Occupational Therapist here at KEO Care. I've been an OT for about 12 years, specialising in paediatrics and early childhood, but yeah, broadening my scope. So talking to the new National Best Practice Framework, and a bit of why it matters so much right now, I think when I first looked at the new framework and it was released, I didn't necessarily think, hey, this is all new. What it really kind of started to speak to was that this gives language to what good ECI already looks like here at KEO. The take home really was that best practice isn't really new in our field, but we're getting better at naming it. And what really comes through the end of these new updates is that we really need to approach this more as an opportunity, not just as a tick box compliance exercise. So this is what we're really doing at KEO today. The main take home that we found is that if you're doing good early childhood intervention, this framework should feel incredibly familiar. So within KEO and our systems, throughout our intake process, our planning, intervention, and our approach to therapy, we really place family and outcomes and goals as the centre of our practice, as well as encouraging participation throughout things like schools, kindergartens and childcares. Throughout our practice and to align with best practice, we really like to align with the decision-making flow of early childhood work and assure that we're prioritising the capacity building of our clients, their families and their supports, as well as integrating it into everyday routines and practice. So reflecting on why this framework is important and what it's really asking us to do as a healthcare service, and what we need to really look at more closely is that to practice early intervention really well, we need to continuously improve our processes and our response to the changing kind of ecosystem that we're working in. Here at KEO, we commit to practice with respects to cultural sensitivity, as well as in a neuro-affirming way for our neurodiverse clients, as well as encouraging an integrated approach that includes the families and supports of our clients. So really, this framework calls for us to be more intentional, consistent, and explicit in the way we practice with everyone. One thing that I'm really passionate about with this new framework, as well as passionate about throughout my role as an occupational therapist, is working alongside therapists and really asking and prompting the where to next question. A cornerstone of good practice for any therapist is ensuring that we use supervision, training, and team discussions to really shape and understand and prepare for what comes next in our world. Good ECI does happen in everyday settings across kinders, schools, within the home, and across communities. So really our emphasis on preparing and helping our therapists be best upskilled towards these settings and working in them is at the forefront of our practice. We encourage strengthening the connections between not only our therapists and their clients, but their families, their schools, their touch points throughout the day. And really this ECI framework does call for us to work really closely throughout those environments. It's essential to making things happen and essential to making dreams come true. Educators, schools, kinders, childcares are going to be essential throughout this process and have always been within the growth and learning of children in this sector. So here at KEO, our focus on strengthening our connections with educators and connections with stakeholders around our clients is essential to great outcomes. So this is something we're already doing quite well and something we're going to continue to be doing in the near future. Throughout the therapy process, we work with our clients to understand their daily routines, as well as understand the environments they're naturally accessing throughout the day. As an example, we might work closely with teachers across a school setting or an early childhood kinder setting, as well as closely with the parents and the clients themselves, our young ones, our children, to really unpack what happens and what it looks like functionally. When we have a good picture of that and what everyone brings to the table, whether it be strengths, whether it be barriers, we work collaboratively with everyone to unpack those routines and then make positive changes throughout this child's life. Best practice isn't something that we just use as a finish line, it's something that we continue to work towards. I'm very passionate about lifelong learning, and what that means for me is that I continue to improve and reflect on the things that I'm doing, not only with my clients, but with myself and my clinicians that I so value and cherish within this company. This isn't a finish line, again, it's a shared language. If we continue to work towards this together in a considered, reflective and collaborative way, the sky's the limit for what we can achieve.